Thank you for attending today's SMB training. Okay, so it has been some time since you last met. Okay, to give everyone an update, last 2 weeks we had a health event in Singapore and it was a great success. And not just only it was a health event where everybody gathered together to come and check their health check, we also launched an array of limited time only products, okay, which is really rare. And it was not just one, but 4 different products that were launched on that day. Okay, so it was a great day for all of us. And Singapore is always, advantageous in the sense that they get to try firsthand these products all the way from US. All right, so eventually they will also arrive on other countries, okay, in SMB. But if you have an opportunity, go to Singapore and try these products. Okay, so now I'm sure there are people who are wondering, right, when they see all these products, okay, they'll be like, Claudia, we already have Feel Great, correct? Okay, so the Feel Great stack is already very good. So why do I need to add more into my routine if Feel Great is able to give me the health that I want? I think it's a very valid question. Okay, in fact, if you're a customer, it's normal to think about that, and you should be able to make a well-informed decision, especially when it comes to health. Okay, so today we're not just only going to be telling you A to Z, all these other products, but we're going to tell you why. Okay, the science about it and how does it make sense. And by picking all these, how it could truly give you the breakthrough that you're looking for in your health. All right, so give me a moment as I share my screen. Okay, now we all know that Feel Great is really important. Okay, I want to establish and I want to stress that this is still the foundation when it comes to metabolic health. All right, in fact, I think you are here because you have heard or you have tried this before. And because of this, you're introduced to the many different portfolios that is in Unicity. Okay, but this truly, I believe, is the starting point for everybody to experience what true health is. Okay, because it targets one of the most important part, which is our insulin and sugar control. All right, so if we cannot establish that, there's no way we are able to go to the next step of health really. All right, so this is the most important foundation, and this is the first point of entry where customers get to know who we are, okay, including all of you on this call. But from this, we understand, and the more we learn and the more we go into science, we realize that things are not so simple. All right, food, okay, yes, pancreas, okay, this is the main thing that still happens and it's still there, but it doesn't tell us the full picture, right? We learn that there's the gut as well, that it influences each other. It's where you produce your GLP-1, your second release of insulin. The muscle is also very crucial when it comes to insulin control and together with sleep. So then only we realize, hey, there are many different aspects of health that contributes to the overall well-being of a person. Even when it comes to insulin resistance, it's not so simple as just pancreas. It's the gut, it's muscles, it's sleep, and collectively they decide how our body would be healthy or not, right? So that's why it comes to our attention, and obviously where our science is headed, that metabolic health is a lot more complicated than what we see on the surface. All right, it's of course muscles, which we have learned extensively. All right, it's sleep, it's your brain as well, okay, your digestive system, how well your body's detoxification, hormonal, and all these different elements come together that will piece that puzzle for us, and it will only lead to true metabolic long-term health. Right? So because of this, we find that there is a need, okay, to eventually have products, not just product, but cutting-edge product that really makes sense, that piece the missing jigsaw puzzle together, that give us a more complete overall protection when it comes to our metabolic health. All right. So this is why today we have to explore these different components, because they play a very important part into sustaining our metabolic health. Okay, so still it's important that I just briefly go through this. All right, why this is important and why you should still be on this is because we all know the great benefits of it. Okay, so for those who are on your Feel Great journey, and especially for those on the 90-day program, I'm sure you could already experience the difference just in the first month alone, right? So in the first 30 days, okay, you will already start to experience less hunger and you have more energy. Your cravings start to drop. You naturally consume 14% lesser calories. Okay, I'm sure you don't crave for things as much. You used to crave for sweet things. Okay, now you can resist. You crave, in fact, for more wholesome food, protein-rich food to give you satiety, right? Okay, your natural GLP-1 boost in just 15 minutes, better mood and steady energy from just the first day itself. You can already feel the difference. Now, as you move into the second month, you start to establish healthier patterns. You start to have 37% lower blood sugar spike, 27% better insulin response, improved gut health, and lesser inflammation. So the change will start to happen inside your body, where your blood profile will start to change. You will start to experience even better gut health, and overall, there is a sense of wellness that comes out of you. And as you go into your third month, which is in your 90-day, okay, this is where you really would be able to see weight loss. But honestly, you don't have to wait for the third month. Okay, many people in the first month or even the second month alone, they already experience visible weight loss, right? So on average, 4.7 kg, you will lose about 2.7 inches off your waist, meaningful HbA1c improvement, and steady, sustainable progress. All right, so this is what you would experience typically in 3 months. And when you come ongoing, when you continue to incorporate this into your routine, you will see lasting vitality, enhanced endurance and mental focus, healthier blood pressure, heart health, and a leaner body composition. So this is how meaningful your Feel Great journey is to you. Okay, in just 3 months, you can see an ongoing, if we can continue to sustain this, we are already giving our bodies a very good foundation. Okay, so this is why we still stand on this being our core lineup. All right, and as a quick summary about the functions of this product, so Unimate is really important. It sets the tone of your day. It gives you the clarity that you need, increases your naturally occurring GLP-1, your fat burning capacity. So it all starts with this one Unimate that you take every morning, okay? And next, when you go to any meal, you don't have to feel afraid. You can eat with confidence because you know you have something that blunts your sugar spike during meal time, and it gives you a good baseline of second insulin release so that it doesn't spike, okay? So together, they're already giving you a very good protection. So now we have this thing called the decaffeinated series. So this is the mint chocolate brownie. And newsflash, if you have not tried, you should, because like what they say, it's like Milo. All right, literally, it tastes really good. And if you put in hot water, 200 ml, it gives you the right concentration. Okay, this is awesome for those who can't tolerate high caffeine. You can take before sleep, and it helps to elevate your fat burning at night. Isn't that great? While you sleep, you burn fat. Okay, it extends your fat burning, give you more deeper fat burning throughout the entire night. So I think this is really something great and awesome that you can incorporate into your routine that will definitely help you to see greater results if fat burning is your priority. Okay, so now I want to move into this because I want to bring to your attention that diabetes doesn't start with high blood sugar. Okay, it starts in your muscle 10 to 15 years earlier. Okay, why I say that is because muscle will become insulin resistant first. Okay, it is not your blood readings. When you see your blood reading that is already high sugar and everything, it means that your muscle has already have insulin resistance before it has even happened. Okay, muscle absorbs 80% of sugar in your blood, So if your muscle is insulin resistant, it does not have the capacity to manage whatever that's in your blood. So this is the reason why you cannot not go into other parts of the body, understand? Eventually, you will have to branch out and go beyond just feel great already. That you have to look into your muscles. You have to start looking into other parts of your body. Because all these things collectively is truly what makes a difference when it comes to managing your insulin resistance. Okay, now many people always think that when it comes to aging, or when it comes to weight gain, or when it comes to fat gain, whatever, their predicament about their health state, okay, they always blame it on their metabolic rate. Okay, I'm aging already, I'm getting older, okay, I'm not burning as much as I should. Hence, that's the reason why I'm having all these problems. Okay, but if you look into this graph, interestingly, in this large scale study, okay, about 10,000 people they studied from 3 days old to 80 years old, they go and measure. Your metabolic rate is actually relatively stable, from 20 to 60 years old is actually relatively stable. Nothing really changes, okay? And what changes only is after 60 years old. So we can't really put the blame on our metabolism not really functioning as it is because it is relatively stable. But what goes down a steady decline truly is your muscle. This is the only thing that will not go up, but it will only come down with age. And you look at this graph. Every single age that you hit after 25, you are losing every year 3 to 5% cumulatively. 3 to 5, 3 to 5, like 40 to 70 is 8%. And when you go all the way down to 70, it's 15% loss. So when it comes to old age, that's the reason why many people, they have a big belly. Okay, they have a big belly, but their arms all get very skinny one. So this is the thing. Your visceral fat and your belly fat, everything is always the last thing to go. But the first thing that you will lose is your muscle. Okay, that is the problem. Though that we lose muscle faster in compared to the rate that we are retaining it, okay, and we are building our muscle. So this is the problem. Okay, now this is why we need stronghold, because it gives us the muscle building signal that our body needs. All right, and what it does, if anything at all you cannot remember, it's just these 3 simple things it does. Okay, it tells our body when we need to activate the signal, when we need to recover, and when we need to stop breaking down so that we can maintain our muscle mass. These 3 things. All right, and it's very different because there isn't anything quite like this in the market. Now, I give you 3 scenarios. Okay, number 1, if you have protein muscle but you don't have muscle building signal, you will not experience much growth. Okay, because your muscle don't know what to do with the protein that's there. You don't have enough protein, but you have a lot of signal. It's also not going to give you much growth because there is nothing to build on your muscle. But the third scenario is the best, in which your muscle has sufficient food source and it also has the appropriate muscle building signal. That is when your muscle knows what to do. Oh, so it's time to build muscle, and this is where you will experience maximum muscle growth. Right? So this is where I think everyday protein is really good if you fit into this picture, because I think most people have the predicament of not having enough protein because it's just not convenient. Okay, if you go out, if you were to have it's always noodles or rice, we just don't have enough protein in our meals. So having this 1 scoop of everyday protein is 20 grams is the cleanest protein powder that you can ever find with only 100 calories. Okay, so you don't have to worry about eating excessively. You can take it during your meal time also, just to bulk up whatever that you are taking during lunch. All right, so that's settled. And with this, okay, I want to go into the ingredient. All right, but I want to highlight more into creatine today. Okay, I realize I haven't really spent much time. I spent a lot of time talking about the rest, but I want to spend a bit more time about creatine because there's a lot of science behind this. So creatine, right? Even since during my studying days, okay, I remember days I was in the hospital, I learned creatine has always been targeted towards more bodybuilding people. Or I'm sure when you hear about creatine, the first thing that comes into your mind is a guy in the gym. all right, trying to buck up, trying to, look really good in the mirror. Okay, but now science is shifting, that they're starting to see, the benefit seems to be legit, it's, not just people are getting their muscles, but its benefit is starting to extend beyond just muscle health. It's moving into things like metabolism, how it affects your anti-aging and even your cognitive, your brain. And especially the next two, the anti-aging and the cognitive one is very strong. Nowadays, there's a lot of studies talking about how it can technically slow your body from aging even further, and especially in the cognitive department. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Now, these are organs that uses a lot of energy. Okay, of course, number one is skeletal muscle. We all know that. Okay, muscle uses a lot of energy. But there are other organs, such as your brain, your heart muscle, your bone, and immunity. So these are the different organs that also use a lot of energy such as your brain. I mean, if you don't have enough energy, already, you cannot think straight, you forget where you put your keys, the next minute you don't know where you put your phone, okay, dementia and all these things, okay, heart muscle, you have a weak heart, you want to work a little bit, you got no stamina, okay, immunity and bone, don't need to say, okay, you fall sick easily. So these different body tissues actually also require high energy consumption. And they realize that, hey, actually, creatine don't only just work on the muscle, its benefit can potentially cover these different parts of your body also. Okay? Now, this is how our body energy system works. So when we consume, when you have energy, right, it comes like battery. Okay, scientifically, we call it ATP. Here, adenosine triphosphate. So whenever we use this battery, right, okay, our body will use a phosphate, okay, a P from this ATP. All right? So when you use a P, after that, our battery will become 3 to 2 phosphate only. So from ATP become ADP. So this ADP is actually something that our body cannot use on. It's technically like a wasted battery, like a battery that has no more electricity. So it's like technically useless in our body if you have a lot of this. So this is the problem that many people are facing, okay, where their body don't have enough ATP, right? It's like a clock. You need to put the battery, AA battery inside, right? So once the battery is done, there's nothing they can do about it. But many people have this empty ATP but don't have the battery that has the proper electric current inside. So this, interestingly, is not, when we think about aging, right, we always think that aging is a result of our body disease or breaking down because of age. But if you come to think about it, if your muscle or your brain don't have enough battery, how can your body function as it should? Of course, right? You don't have the energy, your brain also will slow down, you won't be as sharp, you cannot remember things, your heart muscle also will be compromised in the sense that it won't be able to give you the kind of cardiac output that you want, the stamina that you want. Your immune system actually uses a lot of energy, when you summon all your immune cells to go and attack a bacteria, right, it expends a lot of energy as well. So if your ATP stores are not really very good, right, it makes sense that actually it does slow down. So this is where the anti-aging theory is also coming into place, that people are now correlating that aging is due to insufficient energy stores in their cell. Okay? So because of this, it is a problem if you don't have enough ATP. And now a lot of studies, right, are extending towards older population group. They are really putting this to the test. For those that are above 60, 70, they are really putting a lot of creatine to test rates of Alzheimer, memory recall, strength, and a lot of medical products when it comes targeted to all this older population group also put creatine because they realize there's a lot of value to put that for those who are in the aging population group. So if that can help for the aging population group, how about us, right? Who are, okay, we're not aging now. I just do not believe that we are in that category yet. But definitely it can give us even more benefit, right? You come to think about it. So a slowing down of our body system could really be a deficiency of not having a good amount of ATP in your body, right? Now, this is how creatine works. Okay, this is a simple illustration. Creatine is like a power bank in your body. Okay, your power bank inside got a lot of electric stores, right? So inside is a lot of P, which is phosphate, all right, which is stored in your creatine. So whenever your body uses energy, short bursts of energy, right, that is where you will discharge lah. You will finish using your ATP, your P. Okay, so when that happens, what creatine does is that it will release a P in a situation where your body don't have enough of this energy really. So what it does is that it regenerates your ADP to make it to become a full power energy battery that you can charge back your ADP to become batteries that are usable. All right. So this is how it works and the value behind creatine. So if you have more creatine, it means that you have more energy source, you have more power bank in your body. So whenever you are doing something, your ATP have a much higher chance of being charged. You have much more energy output, and overall, your body have a lot more to work with if you have more creatine, right? So these organs are highly active, then they need a lot of ATP, okay? So like, for example, all this, okay? So our body only store ATP for about 2 to 3 seconds of intense effort only. 2 to 3 seconds. So the next minute you blink or whatever, no more already. So that's why, if you don't have enough, then of course, body won't have the sufficient energy, right? It will become dead battery energy, which doesn't give us any value. So this is when we have creatine, it's like a fast charging process that speeds up the regeneration of ADP to ATP very, very quickly. All right, so without creatine, energy generation is 2 to 3 times slower, 2 to 3 times slower. And by keeping your energy tank full, creatine allows a person to do more, much more. So for example, if you want to carry something, last time you want to carry also like so heavy like that, but now you can just carry easier. You can walk for more. You can walk up the stairs, right? And your heart, your stamina is better. You don't feel like you're losing your breath so much. Your brain, you think better. You're sharper and everything. Okay, so this is why having enough energy, you can really feel it in your body. Okay, but interestingly, okay, creatine doesn't just work like that. Okay, there are several conditions that make creatine work better. Okay, so what do I mean? So creatine is a kind of entity that requires a lot of hydration. It requires a lot of water in order for it to stimulate muscle growth. And this is precisely the reason why bodybuilders are really into creatine, because it sucks up, it absorbs water, it makes your muscle look really good. Okay, it makes it look really juicy, really defined and toned. So that's why taking creatine will give you a really good muscle definition, right? Because it absorbs water. But in order for creatine to absorb water, you need electrolyte. Okay, because last time we did learn, I learned science before where you need to have sufficient concentration so that water will go to that cell membrane, right? So if your cells, right, if there's no salt at all, water cannot go inside the cell, the water will just stay outside your fluid, your blood or whatever. So your cell need to have some sodium or some electrolyte to bring the water into your cell more effectively. So that's the reason why they say if you're having diarrhea or whatever, or spots or whatnot, you need to replenish a lot of electrolyte because you will lose it. And by just taking water alone, you'll further dilute your electrolyte level. So that's not going to be very ideal for your body because your cell is not getting the water source. You are losing more water than you should. So you must have electrolyte in your cell, particularly in your muscle. Okay, because these are key to trigger rapid ATP regeneration. If your body don't have enough mineral and don't have enough water, right, you cannot generate the ATP, the battery. All right, so you need to have both of these components to enable creatine to really perform to its maximum potential. Right, so without sufficient hydration, of course, it's far less effective. Okay, creatine is not so effective. It can lead to all these muscle cramping, but all these are physical symptoms, obviously. Not everybody experiences this, but you may not be able to experience creatine at its full potential. So that's the reason why creatine with proper hydration is essential for you to maximize creatine's benefit in your body, for you to maximize the ATP output as much as possible, okay, for your muscle growth. So this is why if we were to pair this with signal, it's going to give us really, really good results. So what do I mean by that? All right. So first of all, water provides fluid, but electrolyte creates the balance, like I said, needed for cells to effectively retain or to absorb water into the cell, right? And also, it's very important for fluid balance. When electrolyte levels drop, plain water struggles to maintain optimal intracellular hydration. Okay, it won't be able to shuttle into your cell. And also, it has deeper delivery due to the mineral forms that we have and a much boosted blood flow that encourages faster and complete cellular hydration that really hydrates your cell in and out. Okay? And it provides a synergistic effect that creating in a well-hydrated environment leads to much greater results. So the creatine they take in your stronghold with signal would lead to even greater delivery, performance, and output. Okay, now these are the full spectrum of highly absorbable minerals. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them, but these are pretty crucial. But I want to touch on potassium is very important. Potassium, sodium, magnesium, all these are very important so that your muscle are healthy, it contracts at a regular rate. Zinc, okay, and of course, is sugar-free, caffeine-free, and fasting-friendly, but not advisable to take with mini mate. You may break your morning fast. Okay. Now, I want to zoom into two superior forms of mineral. Number one is magnesium malate, all right? Many cheap electrolyte drink also got put this magnesium, okay, but it's magnesium oxide and it has very low absorption rate to 4 to 5%. Okay, and why we put this form is because this form pairs well with energy synthesis, which goes right back to our objective today. Okay, it helps to support cellular ATP production pathway. It means that it supports energy production while replenishing electrolyte. So we are not just only replenishing electrolyte, it's also supporting the whole ATP regeneration mechanism in our body. And of course, calcium citrate malate. This is actually a very expensive calcium. All right, one of the most expensive calcium is calcium citrate malate because of its absorption capacity, 35%, and it has the lowest GI irritation, okay, out of all the many forms. So this is a very good quality calcium, very fast absorption rate, and it gets shuttled into tissues really quickly. It doesn't sit in your gut. Okay, so that's why we need. These are two superior forms of minerals that makes it premium. Okay, so last but not least, I want to touch on this L-citrulline and beetroot extract. Both of these are also very interestingly put in. Why? They give it this really nice pink color. Got reason, okay, because both of them produce this thing called nitric oxide. So what does nitric oxide does is that it relaxes your smooth muscle, okay, so your blood vessel become wider. And because of that, you will have more blood flow. Your oxygen is also going to be more, and whatever nutrient that you take can shuttle into your active tissue a lot faster and more in a given minute as well. All right. And when you can get your targeted site faster, so for example, it could be stronghold, right? All your leucine, all your calcium HSB, your whey protein isolate can go into your muscle a lot faster compared to if you don't take it. Right, so maybe on average it may take like maybe 30 seconds to go in. So if with this probably 10-15 minutes, okay, you'll be able to reach target site. So it gives much faster delivery into our bodies. Okay, and of course we use two different because they have different rates. Okay, L-citrulline alone, it can, but it won't be as well as combining two. So if you have two, it's able to give you the short term fast acting, and it can also last you for much longer period of time because both of them complement each other very well to give us sustained production, maximize blood flow and muscle pump and oxygen delivery, so that you can really feel the with both of these combined together. Okay, they can really give us a kind of energy. Now, this is an illustration, a picture to show you better, okay, to show you more graphically what do I mean by that. So if you look at this picture, right, you show this is a constricted normal vessel, okay, that usually is just a small vessel, right? So you have much slower delivery because you can only transport this amount of using calcium HMB into your target site. But if your blood vessel, okay, if you have this nitric oxide being released into your bloodstream when it dilates, This is what I mean, that there's a lot more calcium, HMB, and leucine that can be transported at one given time. There's a lot more in your blood vessel. So you get to rapidly shuttle them into your muscle cell for maximum absorption and accelerated recovery. So whatever it is that you take together with signal, it will be able to transport a lot quicker to your muscle. So in this case, it's stronghold. So if stronghold, signal, you have everyday protein, is like even better, right? So if you're going to take that, then that'll be good. Or you can take this with whatever it is that you want to stimulate more, and you want to get it that quicker into your system that is able to perform that effect. All right. So this, in summary, what it does. If we only take stronghold, which is also good, okay, which is also very good, all right, because creatine, there's creatine inside, right? It helps to regenerate ATP. But if you take stronghold together with signal, you have optimal hydration and high quality electrolyte. It primes your creatine to work better, faster, and more efficient. So just imagine it's like having a power bank. Okay, creatine is a power bank, right? So if you're able to have the right conditions, like the correct electrolyte and water, right, your capacity of your power bank becomes bigger. So from like a 10,000 mAh, you have a 20,000 mAh capacity, fueling yourself, giving yourself the energy that it needs to regenerate a lot faster. Okay, this result in higher energy output. You have better peak cognitive focus and mobility. That you're able to focus better, that you can run better, you can do more, you can, while you see the stairs, you can run up the stairs, you know, something like that. Okay, that is able to give you a much boosted effect on stronghold. Okay, of course, these are the other ingredients as well that we spoke about. That's in stronghold, that's really important to stimulate muscle building, right? To stimulate mTOR. And if we have this together with signal, because of the nitric oxide that's present, we are able to transport these ingredients to target site faster. So we're talking about better recovery, better performance, and also a better muscle building capacity as well overall. Okay, if we were to pair both of them together, right? So this is how everything comes together, and how all these products, when you come to think about it, it really makes sense, right? So stronghold, what does it do? It provides the muscle building signal to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, which is really important, okay? You need to have that. So if you have signal, it builds an environment that boosts the activity of creatine. And it also transport, it's like a highway, right? That transport the ingredients of stronghold much faster to your target site. So you can imagine having this, you're going to have maximum results, okay? Whatever that you have is going to be able to go up to its maximum potential, and you will feel the benefit of stronghold even better if you were to take it with signal. Okay? So how do we stack all these and bring them together as our performance stack? All right, so now we have the base already, the really good foundation, which stick to whatever configuration that works for you. All right, and you can stack with Unimate decaf. If your priority, you want to burn more fat, you want to lose the visceral fat, if that is your target right now, you can go for that extra. Okay, but it's not a must, okay? So stronghold, this one I think everybody should be on. Okay, the first one, okay, it really depends on your goal, but the second one, the stronghold, everybody should be on that after being on this. And in fact, you can actually take it together with figure as well. Okay, entry point for individuals who wants to experience improved muscle mass and mobility. And of course, it also helps to increase and to better your glucosing. All right, so of course, this is highly recommended for everybody also, but more for those who are experienced, okay, and you want to experience greater muscle breakthrough, and if you take stronghold already, you feel great. And if you want to experience even better, you know, wow, if I can do more, if I can retain even more muscle, right, then just go all out to experience it together with signal. They can give you, you know, it can break the ceiling, okay, to whatever that you are trying to achieve, you know, by building your muscle. Okay. All right. So with all this together, we are truly, I think, the leader in metabolic health. I can say confidently, we are very focused, and you can say that we're an expert also. in the sense that we are very specialized when it comes to managing metabolic health. Okay, and you look at the whole picture, every single aspect, and being on this, you would truly be able to experience the benefit, and the overall well-being will be dramatically improved. Okay, if you were to step this strategically into your daily feel-good routine. All right. So of course, there's a lot of products. So depending on what you are trying. Okay, so this is just a bit of a draft on how to take these products, okay, depending on what product you take. Okay, so 7 a.m. this is just a rough timing. You wake up, you take Uni Mate, okay, this is a standard rule. So 12 p.m. lunch, okay, you take Uni Mate or balance. This is really depending on your configuration. But 1 p.m. take Stronghold and Signal. Okay, and if you have everyday protein, you can mix together also during eating window. Of course, you can also mix with the first one, but I think it's a bit too many things now to take that. Okay, the combination you add Uni Mate and Stronghold, I don't know how the taste is going to be, but if it doesn't take you much, you know, and if you feel that you can take another beverage, usually you will take a beverage or someone, right? Post meal. I think this combination would be better if you can separate it. So it's not like too many in one shake. Okay. And of course, after that, 7 p.m. with dinner, and you can take your balance as usual, okay, to just cover back with dinner. But generally, this is just a suggestion, because usually for eating window is when you take Signal, Stronghold, and all that, and put in together to build muscle. All right. So, okay. So this is for those who want to go the extra mile, okay, when it comes to burning and torching your calories, then you can take this at night, okay, so that you can extend your fat burning until the very next day. Okay, so thank you very much. This is today's presentation, okay, about today's. I hope it's not too overwhelming and you have enough context, okay, about how this product works. All right, last but not least, this is our Wellness 360 event, end of this month. Okay, so we're going to have another one end of this month, and make sure you bring a friend along or whoever that would benefit from this. Okay, for those who are on the 90-day program, you can come as well to just evaluate where you are, to see where you stand, you know, in the whatever interval that you are in, okay? And from there, we'll be able to understand a lot more about your health, okay? Because many times we just look at the surface, we don't know what are the hidden health patterns, okay? So by coming here, we're able to uncover all that to be able to take charge of your health journey. Okay, so please come, and we're going to have all these products as well on that day. So make sure you come for this event. Okay, lock in your dates, and I'll be presenting there as well, 11:30 a.m. Okay. Okay, so yep, we are done for the talk for today. So now it's Q&A, right? So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, all right, how to take the products and everything. All right, okay, so for Signal, can mix with Uni Mate or better to mix with Stronghold? I was say depending on what is your objective lah. Okay, you can also take it with Uni Mate one actually. Just don't take during your fasting period lah, because it will break your fast. But if you were to make with Uni Mate, then of course it will make the Uni Mate work even better lor. So if your objective is to burn even more fat, then you can mix it with Uni Mate. Okay, but if you want to mix it with Stronghold, I would think Stronghold is more strategic, because Stronghold has creatine, and creatine needs water and electrolyte to work even better. So if you have both of them together, that is going to amp up your Stronghold effect even better. Right? So I would suggest that if your objective is really to building muscle mass. Okay, after taking Signal, can I be energetic like Spider-Man? Oh, you can try. Okay, I look forward to see, you know, how well you can run. All right. Okay, can we mix Stronghold and Signal and everyday protein to drink? Can we drink only after workout, or can we drink during intense workout? Okay, yeah, good question. Yes, you can make all three together and drink. No problem. But I think if you want to space them out also okay. Well, I'm actually putting all together really is for convenience. But if you're talking about exercise, right, I would break it. I will put Signal and Stronghold together, like maybe in interval, because that's when you want to replenish. Your electrolyte stores and everything. Then after that, you want to recover, right? When you recover, then you just take, your everyday protein. After that, also can for recovery. Yeah, I think I answered your question, right? So after you can drink, you can split. Actually, you can split. For after workout recovery, you can take everyday protein, and during intense workout, take stronghold and signal together. Okay, that would be my suggestion. All right, so I'm not entirely sure how the phosphate charge model works with anabolic resistance model. Would it be okay to help me understand this more, or shall I ask separately? You can ask me separately also, but I can also give you a brief introduction here. So of course, when it comes to anabolic resistance, this happens, of course, with age. Age is definitely one thing that make people unable to build muscle. In fact, they lose muscle more. So this is what anabolic resistance means. So of course, if you have creatine, right, creatine helps to regenerate ATP. So regeneration of ATP is what stimulates muscle growth actually. Because if you don't have enough ATP, you don't have enough battery, how can your body build more muscle? Okay, it's hard because it's a very expensive process. Your body to expend a lot of energy to build muscle. So if you have sufficient ATP, you have enough creatine stores there, and you have enough phosphate there all the time, it stimulates your muscle growth. Your muscle to start going means, hey, your muscle will feel that there's enough energy stores. I feel safe. Let's start building your muscle. So it will send a signal to your muscle to stimulate its muscle building, and then because of that and the other components in stronghold like whey protein isolate, your calcium HMB, all this will also stop the muscle from leaching out the amino acid to leach out from your muscle. So this is how it stops the anabolic resistance. So definitely, if you have more ATP or whatever creatine signaling, okay, that you have together with signal, definitely it will command more. It will encourage your body to perform more energy expensive activities such as muscle building. Okay, I hope I am answering your question. All right. Okay. So any other question? Okay, wait. Just to make sure that I'm not missing any. What happened to my chat? You closed the chat already, is it? Huh? You didn't close your chat. Okay, I don't know where my chat goes. So got question or not? Okay. All right. So okay, yeah. Actually, today's session is quite heavy, but it's quite a revelation, honestly. Then it only come to my attention how signal and creatine, of course, in stronghold, when they work together, it can really produce very good result. All right. So every single product that we release is to really bring us back to the same objective, and we're very clear, which is to give us metabolic health. All right. And since we already get the whole insulin resistance and sugar control well managed with Feel Great, that's where we have to pivot into other areas such as muscle. Okay, so signal is actually very good. All right, I think people don't really understand, probably not enough education, but if signal you add together with stronghold is super. Okay, in fact, you can also target with any other thing. Oasis also can, if you really want to look into skin, your joint, all that. Unimate also can actually. It's not to say you can't, but you don't take it during your fasting time. That's all. Right? So if you are interested, we can of course talk more about this subsequently, and there's a lot of combinations that we can do together with signal. But actually, if you can incorporate that together in your future routine, it could really elevate whatever existing health that you want to, and to bring you even greater result. Okay. So okay, one more question from Rin Hanekoma. The Japanese on our talk today. So if I do intense workout in the morning, we break my intermittent fasting by drinking signal and stronghold and everyday protein. It will, but it's fine. Okay, honestly, I think if you're gonna do exercise, right, especially when you're gonna do resistance training, right, you shouldn't fast, because you won't be able to do that well of a performance, and your muscle may be weak. and it's actually not good during workout. You may even harm yourself. So I would say that if you're going to do intense workout, don't do intermittent fasting. You must have something. So I would say that you can take your uni mate very early in the day, in the morning. You should eat something actually. Have some glucose in your blood so that you have enough to build to, you only starve or don't eat if you're going to do cardio. All right, talking about fat burning, if you're talking about cardio, then it's fine. Going to run is okay if you're just on uni mate. Okay, but if you're going to be on intense workout like HIIT or going to do like resistance training, you need to make sure that you are well fed. So you shouldn't worry about the whole breaking calories thing. And in fact, you should go all out to just make sure you have protein. So important for recovery. And during your workout, you must have your signal and stronghold together. Definitely, it's going to help your performance so much more. Okay, so if you're going to go for that, then I wouldn't recommend you to fast, especially for resistance training. Oh, okay, Catherine, raise your, okay, yeah, high rocks prep. Yes, very important. Don't go high rocks on an empty stomach. Okay, it's a bad idea. All right, you're going to faint. Okay, so Catherine, is that intentional hand raise or not an intentional hand raise? Okay, so not very sure. All right, so Catherine, if you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. Okay, then we can discuss further from then on. All right, so for everyone else, thank you for attending, and I look forward to see you end of this month. Okay, that we're going to explore more about this topic and to deepen our understanding about all these amazing LTOs that we have. And of course, please bring a friend along so that they can also improve their health with our freeway event. All right, so thank you so much, everybody. See you around. Bye.